welcome back to my channel. Yes, today's Thursday. We all know what that is. Let's wave that. I gotta do greetings first. Hello, my name is Daniel. I'm your steer.
Guy in the chair.
He said it! He said it!
And yes, today is Thursday, so we have the critical drinker. I don't know why I did that, but this is Zach Cregger's Resident Evil. How many times are they gonna reboot this? I have a feeling like it's gonna flop. But it's still there. I've only seen one trailer. So let's enjoy.
Sometimes, dear viewer, even the best of us can be wrong in our predictions. Like a couple of weeks back when I looked at the premise and everything Zach Cregger had said about his new take on Resident Evil, I predicted it would probably be a decent action horror movie, but a bad Resident Evil film, because by his own admission, it's got almost nothing to do with the story, characters, or events of the games.
I like to think that, everything that's going on in the police station could be happening in this world. This is just another dude on another mission on the other side of town, and like what's going on with him. So yeah, I mean, it's not canon in that I'm not using the characters, but it's canon in that it lives in the actual day of reckoning in Raccoon City.
Right. And now that I've seen the first teaser trailer, soaked up the mood, the protagonist, and the overall look and feel of this film, I'll admit that my opinion is completely stayed exactly the same.
Sorry about that, babe.
Now, before I start moaning like a zombie that's just taken a shotgun blast to the groin, I want to make a couple of things clear. I've got nothing against Zach Cregger as a director. I thought Weapons was one of the most interesting and fun horror movies I've seen in a good long while, and Barbarian is top of my list of films I haven't watched yet but absolutely plan to. And, as a general principle, I've got nothing against experimenting with different ideas and telling new stories in long-running franchises. In fact, it can and even should be done from time to time to keep things fresh and interesting. But stuff like that works best when you've got a solid, established base to build them on. Resident Evil, in film terms at least, absolutely doesn't. The Mila Jovovich movies from the 2000s started out okay, I guess, if slightly goofy, before descending into farce and mutating into something that was barely even recognizable as Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City was a noble but failed attempt to mesh the plots of the first two games into one film that was just let down by crap actors, poor writing, and a budget that was laughably inadequate for what they were trying to do. And as for whatever the hell Netflix decided to inflict on the world,
Oh my God.
It's awful!
fuck off, show. All of this is to say that telling some obscure, self-contained side story to the main narrative is a neat little idea as long as the main narrative has been properly established already. Because why try to improve on something that's already been done and done well? But that's the real problem here. It hasn't. And everyone knows it. Despite a quarter of a century of trying, nobody in Hollywood's been able to properly crack Resident Evil, and in a lot of ways, it feels like Zach Cregger isn't really trying to solve that problem with his own movie, he's just avoiding it.
My rule for this movie was to just try and make a movie that felt like my experience of playing the games, that could live in the world of Resident Evil. So this, I feel like this movie takes place alongside the events of Resident Evil 2.
He's telling his own self-contained story that just so happens to be set in the Resident Evil universe, which means he's able to avoid all those pesky comparisons to the games, because there's none to be drawn here. Oh, Zach, you crafty man, you. I mean, I'll at least say that as a generic horror movie, I do like the look and feel of this teaser. There's a nice foreboding atmosphere of tension and dread. There's some interesting horror imagery. What shall I put in this scene? I don't know, bunch of arms and legs, I guess. Yeah, it feels more like a supernatural horror than the kind of bioweapons gone rogue you'd expect from Resident Evil, but let's not get too hung up on that. There's a lone protagonist who's clearly way out of his depth, which does at least echo the isolation of PvE survival horror gameplay, but also creates a bit of a narrative problem, because if you only have one major character, then how can you create any sort of dramatic tension when clearly they can't be allowed to die? I also have a few other questions that popped into my mind while watching this, like, this movie's supposed to be set during the Raccoon City outbreak, right? Which happens in September. So, like, Why is it snowing? Why are the streets so empty when there should be zombies wandering around everywhere? I mean, Raccoon City's got a population in the hundreds of thousands. You can't tell me they all just wandered away from the area. Why is there an intersectional feminist in this movie?
I ain't got no clue, darling.
Like I say, I think and hope that Zack Cregger's Resident Evil will turn out to be an entertaining horror flick that stands on its own merits. But as for redeeming Resident Evil on the big screen, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna hold my breath with this one. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Hey guys, I hope y'all already had to say, in a short, quick video, but I have a feeling this Resident Evil's gonna flop. They can't see it. Everybody is trying their hardest to stay away from the story. It's a good story. I don't know why they would avoid it. But either way, let's hope and pray it comes out good. But if you like what you saw, you want to see more, don't forget to like, comment down below, share, and subscribe. But I hope you had an awesome night and the rest of your day goes really well. And then I'll see you in the next video. Bye.